For the last 28 years, Mauricio Umansky told the world that everything he built was for his family. But new court documents have just revealed a shocking truth that has left everyone speechless. In a desperate and highly controversial move, Mauricio secretly transferred the majority of his multi-million-dollar empire, including multiple Beverly Hills properties, his shares in the agency, and several offshore accounts, into the name of another woman. Not just any woman. A secret woman who had been hidden from the public for years. This wasn't done after the divorce started. Sources say Mauricio began moving everything months before Kyle even filed, in what appears to be a calculated attempt to make sure that when the court divided their assets, there would be almost nothing left in his name for Kyle to claim her 50% share. When this bombshell was presented in court, the judge's reaction was visible. Kyle sat completely stunned, while Mauricio's legal team scrambled to defend the transfers. But the real question everyone is asking now is, will this secret move actually work? Or has Mauricio just committed the biggest mistake of his life that could destroy him instead of saving him? What I'm about to tell you next changes everything we thought we knew about this divorce. This divorce was never going to be clean. Everyone who truly knew Mauricio and Kyle could see that a storm was coming. When Mauricio Umansky married Kyle Richards back in 1996, he wasn't just marrying a woman, he was marrying into one of Hollywood's most powerful families. Kyle brought with her the kind of connections, fame, and influence that most real estate agents could only dream of. She didn't just support his career. She became the face that helped turn a small brokerage into a global empire. By the time Mauricio launched the agency in 2011, Kyle's role on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills acted as a permanent commercial for his business. Luxury homes, lavish parties, private jets, every episode was carefully designed to make viewers associate the agency with the perfect Beverly Hills lifestyle. The public bought the fantasy completely. The charming husband, the loyal wife, and the beautiful family living the dream. But those closest to the couple paint a very different picture. According to multiple insiders, the marriage had been dying for years. Public cheating scandals, the damaging Malibu mansion fraud case, and constant financial pressure had poisoned their relationship. While Kyle was desperately trying to protect their family image on national television, Mauricio was growing increasingly cold and strategic. Sources say he had begun referring to Kyle as a risk rather than a partner. For the past few years, Mauricio had reportedly been preparing for the worst. Leaked messages show him telling his inner circle that he would never allow Kyle to take half of the agency. He wasn't just thinking about divorce. He was building an escape plan. What the world didn't realize was how far he was willing to go. While smiling for the cameras on buying Beverly Hills and pretending everything was fine, Mauricio was allegedly moving millions of dollars and major properties out of his own name. He wasn't putting them into offshore trusts or anonymous companies. He was transferring everything into the name of one mysterious woman. A woman nobody outside his closest circle knew about. This wasn't a normal divorce strategy. This was a calculated, ruthless move that would eventually blow up in the most dramatic way possible, inside a Los Angeles courtroom. The courtroom was supposed to be the place where the final numbers would be decided. Instead, it turned into a war zone. For the first 2 hours, Mauricio's lawyers were dominating. They stood in front of the judge with absolute confidence, arguing that Kyle had no real claim to the agency. They called her just a television personality who only helped with marketing. The judge seemed to be listening carefully. Kyle sat motionless, her face pale, as her entire 28-year marriage was reduced to brand promotion. But then Kyle's lead attorney dropped a bomb that no one saw coming. "Your Honor," she said, her voice sharp, "we have discovered that Mr. Umansky began secretly transferring his assets 4 months before divorce papers were even filed. He moved millions out of his name and put them into the name of another woman." The entire courtroom went dead silent. When the documents were presented, the truth spilled out like poison. Mauricio had transferred multiple Beverly Hills properties, his personal shares in the agency, the Aspen Mansion, and several offshore investment accounts into the name of a woman called Elena Voss, a 34-year-old former agency executive who had never been publicly linked to him. Insiders are now saying Elena wasn't just any woman. She was Mauricio's secret mistress for over 2 years. Kyle's reaction was devastating. According to people sitting behind her, she started shaking uncontrollably. Tears streamed down her face as she whispered, "He gave everything to her." The betrayal in that moment was so raw that even some of the courtroom staff looked visibly uncomfortable. Mauricio sat completely still, staring straight ahead. His usual calm, cocky expression had completely vanished. But here's where it gets even worse. Court documents revealed that Mauricio had created a private LLC in Elena Vaz's name and transferred over $47 million worth of assets in less than 90 days. The timing was perfect, just before he knew the divorce would turn ugly. His plan was crystal clear: leave nothing in his own name so that when the court ordered a 50-50 split, there would be almost nothing left for Kyle to take. He was trying to technically bankrupt himself on paper while keeping full control through his secret woman. When Kyle's lawyer read the transfer dates out loud, Kyle broke down. She stood up suddenly and looked directly at Mauricio with pure rage and heartbreak in her eyes. Witnesses say she shouted, "After everything I gave you, you did this to me." The judge immediately called for order, but the damage was done. The image of the perfect husband that Mauricio had sold on television for years was destroyed in a single afternoon. But just when everyone thought this was the biggest twist of the day, Kyle's legal team dropped an even darker revelation. They presented messages between Mauricio and Elena Vaz that were recovered from a deleted folder on his work computer. In one message, sent only 3 weeks before the divorce filing, Mauricio allegedly wrote, "Once this is done, everything will be in your name. Don't worry. When the divorce is over, I'll move it all back. Kyle will get nothing. This is our future now." The courtroom erupted. Mauricio's lawyers tried desperately to call the messages fabricated and illegally obtained, but the judge looked furious. He stared at Mauricio and said, "Mr. Umansky, if these transfers were made with the intention of defrauding your wife of her marital rights, this court will not only reverse them, it may hold you in contempt." For the first time in the entire divorce, Mauricio looked completely broken. His face had gone pale. His hands were shaking. The man who thought he had played the perfect game had just been exposed in the most humiliating way possible. But what happened next was the real twist nobody saw coming. Elena Vaz's own lawyer suddenly stood up in court and asked to speak. What she revealed next has now thrown this entire case into absolute chaos. The courtroom had barely recovered from the bombshell when Elena Vaz's own lawyer dropped a second nuke that no one saw coming. Instead of defending the transfers, Elena's attorney announced that his client was now cooperating with Kyle's legal team. The woman who was supposed to be Mauricio's secret shield had just turned against him. According to leaked court filings, Elena Vaz sent a sworn statement claiming Mauricio had promised her marriage and full ownership of the agency once the divorce was finalized. She allegedly told investigators, "He said Kyle would be left with nothing. He told me this was our future together." The betrayal was now layered. Mauricio had betrayed Kyle, and now his own mistress had betrayed him. Within hours, the story detonated across the internet. Clips of Kyle's emotional breakdown in court went mega viral. The hashtag Mauricio exposed crossed 4.8 million tweets in under 10 hours. Twitter threads broke down every transfer with screenshots, timelines, and angry commentary. One viral post read, "This man moved his entire empire into his side chick's name, so his wife of 28 years gets zero? Evil." Even reality TV stars started weighing in. One former Real Housewives cast member posted, "This is the most calculated, disgusting thing I've ever seen in this franchise. Kyle deserves so much better." The backlash was so severe that several major brands associated with the agency began quietly pulling their partnerships. But the real chaos was still building. Late that night, a new set of documents surfaced through an anonymous source. These papers allegedly show that Mauricio didn't just transfer existing assets. He had been funneling money from the agency's business accounts into Elena's name for over 18 months. We're talking tens of millions of dollars that should have been company revenue. This revelation is now raising serious questions about tax fraud, money laundering, and possible criminal charges. Mauricio's once untouchable empire is crumbling in real time. His cell-made image is in ruins. The man who spent years bragging on television about being a loyal husband has been exposed as someone who was willing to burn his entire family to protect his money. But here's what has everyone terrified. According to a source close to Kyle's legal team, the documents they submitted today are not even the strongest evidence they have. There is still one final bombshell they are holding back, something that could not only destroy Mauricio's remaining defense, but potentially send him to prison. And they're planning to drop it at the next hearing. The internet didn't just react, it exploded. Within minutes of the hearing ending, the phrase "Mauricio's secret woman" was trending worldwide. The clip of Kyle breaking down in court after learning her husband had transferred their entire empire into his mistress's name has been viewed over 28 million times in less than 24 hours. Social media is now split into two vicious camps. One side is filled with pure rage. Thousands of women are calling Mauricio a calculated monster and the ultimate betrayer. Comments like, 28 years of marriage and he gave everything to his side chick? This is evil are flooding every post. The hashtag Justice for Kyle is growing faster than anything we've seen in the Real Housewives franchise. On the other side, a very loud group is defending Mauricio, saying it's his money, he can do whatever he wants with it. Some are even attacking Kyle, calling her greedy and saying she only wants the money. The comment sections have turned into all-out war zones with people threatening each other. The Real Housewives universe has also erupted. Multiple current and former cast members have posted cryptic messages clearly supporting Kyle. One well-known housewife reportedly sent a text to a friend that leaked online saying, "What Mauricio did is disgusting. He didn't just betray Kyle, he betrayed their entire family." The real estate industry's reaction has been even more devastating for Mauricio. Several major brokers and developers in Beverly Hills have begun distancing themselves publicly. One prominent agent told Page 6 anonymously, his brand is finished. No high-net-worth client wants to work with a man who secretly funneled his entire fortune to his mistress to screw over his wife. Inside the agency, the situation is catastrophic. Multiple senior agents have already resigned. One leaked internal message from a top agent reads, "I can't look clients in the eye and sell them on the family values brand anymore." It was all a lie. But the most dangerous reaction is coming from the financial world. According to our sources, two major banks that finance the agency's expansion are now reviewing their loans, and at least one federal investigator has reportedly opened a preliminary file on the asset transfers. This scandal has officially gone nuclear. And according to insiders close to the case, the worst is yet to come. There is still one final piece of evidence that Kyle's team has not revealed, and it's supposed to be the most damaging of all. Just when it looked like this divorce couldn't get any more vicious, the final twist of the day left the entire courtroom in absolute disbelief. As the judge was preparing to end the hearing, Kyle's lead attorney stood up one last time and said, "Your Honor, before we adjourn, there is something you need to see." She submitted a single document, a revised agreement dated just 6 weeks ago. In it, Mauricio had not only transferred the assets to Elena Vos, he had given her full irrevocable control with no legal obligation to ever return them. But that wasn't even the biggest shock. The document included a clause that Mauricio had added himself. It read, "In the event of any legal challenge by Kyle Richards, Elena Vos shall retain permanent ownership of all transferred assets as compensation for emotional and personal support provided during this difficult period." In other words, Mauricio had legally paid his mistress with his entire empire to stay quiet and help him destroy Kyle. When that paragraph was read aloud, Kyle let out an audible sob that echoed through the silent courtroom. She looked at Mauricio with pure devastation and whispered, "You sold our life to her?" Mauricio didn't even look up. His head remained buried in his hands. But the ultimate bombshell came from Elena Vos herself. Her lawyer stood up and revealed that Elena had turned on Mauricio completely. Not only had she given all the evidence to Kyle's team, but she also submitted a handwritten letter from Mauricio that said, "Burn everything that connects us. If Kyle finds out what we did, I'm finished." The judge looked visibly angry. He stared at Mauricio and said, "This doesn't look like asset protection, Mr. Umansky. This looks like an intentional and fraudulent attempt to hide marital assets from your wife of nearly 3 decades." He then dropped the line that has everyone talking. "I am seriously considering referring this case to the district attorney for criminal investigation." The courtroom erupted. As people began to leave, Kyle's attorney made one final chilling statement. "We still have one last piece of evidence that we have not submitted yet. And when we do, it will end Mauricio Umansky's career forever." The screen fades to black. This divorce has now officially gone from ugly to potentially criminal. And what that final piece of evidence is, might be the most explosive revelation yet. Now tell me, are you as shocked as I am? Mauricio Umansky didn't just hide money, he secretly transferred almost his entire empire into his mistress's name so his wife of 28 years would get nothing. The same man who smiled beside Kyle on television for years was planning in the shadows to completely cut her out. So, I want to hear from you right now. Do you think what Mauricio did was smart business, or was this the most heartless betrayal we've seen in reality TV? Should Kyle still get 50% of the agency after everything she sacrificed, or does Mauricio have the right to protect what he built? Team Kyle or Team Mauricio? Drop your honest opinion in the comments. Be brutal. This comment section is going to be on fire, and I'm reading every single one. If you want more raw, dramatic, and no-filter coverage of this divorce and other big celebrity scandals, then hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the notification bell. We are tracking every single update in this case, and trust me, the next episode is going to be even more explosive. Because according to sources close to the case, that final piece of evidence Kyle's team is holding back is going to drop very soon, and it could potentially lead to criminal charges against Mauricio. This story is far from over. In fact, it's only getting darker. So if you want to stay ahead of what happens next, subscribe, like this video, and comment below, whose side are you really on? I'll see you in the next video. This one is going to be wild.